When you think of money, your mind might go to coins, cash, or credit cards. But what if I told you that there's a place in the world where currency was made of giant stones, some weighing as much as a car? Welcome to Yap Island in Micronesia, home to the legendary rice stones. Today, we will explore this unique economic system, delving into how these massive discs became symbols of wealth, the stories they carry, and what they can teach us about value and trade. Let's dive right in. Hey, welcome back to Vaulted Visions. Today, we're diving into a story that blends history, culture, and economics. We're going to explore the incredible tradition of the Yap Islanders, who used massive stone discs as currency. These stones, some weighing as much as a car, have an incredible history tied to them that makes them so much more than just rocks. Stay tuned until the end because I'll reveal why some of these stones, even if lost at sea, still hold immense value. Let's start with the basics. Yap is a small island in the western Pacific Ocean, part of the Federated States of Micronesia. Despite its size, Yap has one of the most unique systems of currency in human history. Their form of money? Huge, carved stone discs known as rice stones. These stones are not your ordinary pebbles or coins. They can be as small as a foot in diameter or as massive as 12 feet across and weigh up to 4 tons. So, how does one even use a massive stone as currency? The value of a rice stone isn't based on how big it is or how much it weighs. Instead, the value comes from the story of how the stone was obtained. The farther and more treacherous the journey to acquire the stone, the more valuable it became. The stones were typically quarried on the island of Palau, over 250 miles away from Yap, and transported back to Yap using wooden canoes. This perilous journey alone added great worth to the stones. Now, imagine using money that you never carry with you. This is where Yap stone money gets really interesting. The rice stones rarely moved once they were placed on the island. When a transaction took place, the stone didn't physically change hands. Instead, ownership of the stone would be transferred by word of mouth or through public acknowledgement. Everyone in the community would simply agree that the stone now belonged to someone else. For example, if one person purchased land or a significant good, ownership of a certain rice stone would transfer to them, even though the stone might be sitting outside the previous owner's house. It was all based on trust and reputation, the community agreeing on who owned what. This system created an incredibly stable and transparent economy. Everyone knew who owned which stone and how much each stone was worth, so there was very little room for fraud or theft. You might wonder, why did the Yapese place so much value on these stones? The answer lies in the immense effort it took to obtain them. These stones were not only huge and difficult to transport, but they were also quarried from Palau, which was not an easy destination to reach. The long, dangerous voyages by sea to obtain the stones added layers of significance to each stone. In a way, each stone represented the effort, risk, and sacrifice that went into acquiring it. Additionally, the size and smoothness of the stones played a role in their value, but it wasn't everything. Larger stones were often more valuable, but a smaller stone that was quarried from a distant island might hold more value than a larger, locally obtained stone. The value was tied to the stone's history and the story behind it, almost like the history of a rare artifact adds to its worth. In many ways, Yap stone money challenges our modern notions of currency. It's not just about material value, it's about symbolic value. The rice stones are as much a representation of community, history, and effort as they are about economics. The use of rice stones wasn't limited to everyday purchases. These massive discs were often used for significant transactions, such as dowries, political deals, and tributes. Since they were so cumbersome, their use was symbolic, often marking an important event or relationship. One interesting aspect of the rice stones is how they remained in circulation even when they were no longer physically present. There's a famous story about a rice stone that was being transported by canoe when it accidentally fell into the ocean. Though the stone was lost at sea, the islanders decided that the stone still retained its value because they all knew it existed at the bottom of the ocean. From then on, the stone was still counted in transactions even though no one could physically see or touch it. This concept shows how the value of these stones wasn't solely tied to their physical presence, but to their communal recognition. Yap stone money also played a significant role in Yap's social and cultural fabric. The stones were more than just currency, they were symbols of wealth, prestige, and power. Families with more rise stones were considered wealthier and had higher status in the community. Owning a large or valuable stone was a sign of respect and influence, and often the stones were passed down through generations as heirlooms. In fact, certain stones were so revered that they were placed in prominent public areas for everyone to see, serving as symbols of the owner's status. While most stones stayed with the family or individual, some were given as gifts to other clans or tribes to forge alliances, settle disputes, or as acts of tribute. This added a deep social dimension to the stones, as they became a key part of Yap's identity. Here's an incredible bonus fact. Even though the world has long moved on to paper money and digital transactions, the Yapese still hold onto their stone money tradition. Rise stones are still used today in ceremonial exchanges, such as weddings or as inheritance. The stones have become symbols of Yapese heritage, reminding the people of their history and the perseverance of their ancestors. If you found this deep dive into Yap stone money fascinating, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more stories about the world's most unique cultures and historical oddities. Leave a comment below with your thoughts. Would you be comfortable using massive stones as currency? See you in the next video.